I can remember as a small child going with grandfather out to look at the lines, riding along with him and grandmother, and I think basically they were babysitting for my folks, but I can remember going out on the lines and going over to Lone Tree and places like that. Remember learning how to look for wraps in the open wire. Everything was open wire back then.
Barely in grade school, we had the old magnetophones. We had just barely gotten natural gas heat, and you know, things were what we would consider pretty primitive these days. We had entertainment was a tube-type radio and a old 78 RPM phonograph. The company upgraded from the magneto to a dial exchange and 8-party lines in the rural areas, and 4-party lines in town, and thought we'd made a big leap forward.
And all of the old magnetophones ended up in our garage, and as kids we would gather up the phones, and we learned how to hook them up and have our own within the yard phone system on the old magnetophones, things like that.
My mom worked cleaning the office for extra money. It was extra hours, and then we didn't have to pay somebody else to do it. And she put me to work helping her out. I used to help clean coffee cups and pick up and dump trash, and did that pretty much all my life because she was still doing it even when I was in high school. And so I used to help out with it all the time.
We were, as kids, kind of recruited into doing things as simple as unpacking phones when we'd receive them back from the refurbishment company. I was probably 8, maybe 9 years old at the time, and then we would, you know, record what they were when we received them and put them into the warehouse, which at that time was really nothing but a overglorified closet at the old office building.
Probably some of the funnest times I've had were going out and building towers with the construction crew back then as just a construction hand. You know, the days of we'd get done pouring concrete at 7 o'clock at night and then hopefully make it back before the rain started.
I think it's great that our family can get together and work in this business and are able to go forward in this business.
The company always seemed to be a center point. It's where we tended as a family to focus.
It's an opportunity that not everyone has, but it's also a challenge.
We kind of grew into it and thought that's the way everybody lived, but we kind of, as we grew up, we realized nobody else really had these experiences. And as I've gotten older, I think I really see the heart and soul that other members of my family have put into this company in providing the services to our consumers. I always got to see how they put the company first and the needs of the consumers first.
And the challenge has always been trying to grow the customer base enough that we can keep up with the technology.
And challenges of getting to sites, challenges of getting back off of sites in the winter.
The biggest challenges for Union, I think, over the years have been, you know, when wireless came about, we had to make a decision if we wanted to do that or if that was just a fad. I think we made the right choice in, you know, jumping in, but it was a new business line. We had to think differently about how we did things. I think in more recent years, the biggest challenges have been, you know, increasing competition from the big guys and trying to keep up technologically, you know, because we're so small. But I think we've done a good job of that for the most part, and I think, you know, we're really moving forward into good position going forward.
There's going to be some new technology coming forward that's going to make you wonder how you ever did without it. We act like you can't do without a smartphone now, when it wasn't that many years ago. You had a phone that was half as big as a suitcase that you were packing around, and glad to just have plain old voice service.
In the next 100 years, I really think that the main focus of Union should still be on providing the services to the communities that have supported us today.
I hope that we can continue the legacy that my grandfather has built here for my grandkids and their grandkids.
Well, I'd like to see Union still alive and well, and the family running it. I'd like to see it have expanded beyond the boundaries we have now, and still be a viable company. Good news for me is I probably won't have to do too much of the heavy lifting on that.